Hey, good evening. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming and continued testing for Glory Days College football. And we are going to join this test game, Notre Dame and Clemson, at the beginning of the second half. Currently, Clemson up 20-6. In our halftime statistics, Clemson 34 plays for 286 yards, Notre Dame 30 plays for 188. And really, the Irish struggled early in the first half. They did get 2 field goals on their last 2 drives. And Clemson, touchdown, a fumble at the Notre Dame 1-yard line, and then or actually into the end zone, followed by 2 touchdown drives and a punt to end the first half. So we're going to jump right in. Notre Dame receiving the second half kickoff. And Matt is here to root for the Irish, and they need to play much better in the second half. This is going to be a penalty on the kickoff, so Clemson is going to be backed up 5 yards. And a 9, and that is going to be at the 10-yard line, adding 5 yards on from the spot. Notre Dame on the return, and they have a kickoff return of C. So Notre Dame kickoff return of C, and they're going to bring that ball out to the 35-yard line where they'll start their first drive of the second half as we jump into simulated drive mode. Each team will have 3 drives in the second half. So Ian Book, see if you can get the Irish going, and RJL 518, Robert, who is currently in the midst of the 1976 Inside Pitch Playoffs, so check that out, and Brock Riblett as well. Good evening, guys. Just getting started here as Notre Dame, and the drive actually is a -1 on the drive chart, so they need to get 35 or more, and they just squeeze that out. So 16, they're going to get stuck with another bad down and distance situation, which has happened throughout the game. They get 4 plays, 28 yards for their simulated portion of the drive. And that is going to put the ball at the Clemson 37, and roll of 3. It's going to be 3rd down and 12. So Notre Dame not doing themselves any favors here, as Clemson will be sitting back playing a long pass. And Notre Dame is going to come out and call a draw play. I guess that is the safe bet to do here. So they'll get an extra star, and Notre Dame roll of 3 against a 5. It's going to be +2 on the Notre Dame run column, and Book is going to be the runner. +2 roll of 6, and that is going to be a 5-yard gain. So it's going to cut short of the first down, make it 4th and 7 from the 32. And this will be a 49-yard field goal. Notre Dame from this distance is 0-59, so they're going to give it a shot. Again, field goals are not going to win this game, though, and that is a potential penalty. Is no penalty on the roll of 8 on the green die. And 98, that kick is badly missed. So Notre Dame missed field goal, and Clemson is going to take over on their own 32. Let's see what Trevor Lawrence and co. have in store for their first drive here of the third quarter. All right, Clemson has done well, and 90. This is going to be a +1. 90 is going to be a potential fumble. So 9, and that is going to be 3 plays, 7 yards. Clemson will have to kick if they retain possession of the ball. And fumble ratings for Clemson, they lose it on 1-11. Notre Dame is a +5, so 1-16. Looking good for the Irish. They've already got 1, and they've got another. So Clemson turns the ball over, and the Irish will jump right into play-by-play mode on the Notre Dame. On the Clemson, 39-yard line. All right, it's going to be 1st and 10. Notre Dame on the drives in the first half had bad down and distance. Pretty much every possession. Clemson, a lot of 3s and 4s rolled on the 2D6, which determines the situation you jump into play-by-play mode on. So this is a welcome relief for the Irish, as they now have a 1st and 10 at the Clemson 38, trailing 20-6 as we move up on the midway point of the third quarter. In real life, Notre Dame last year beat Clemson 47-40, and in the rematch, it was Clemson, all Clemson, 34-10. And to be fair, definitely some injury. And 5-1, and not favorable though on the die rolls. That's going to be a -2. So coming off of Clemson's card and a 0. -2 short pass. That's still going to be a 9-yard gain though. And the receiver on that will be Mayer. So Ian Book is the fortunate recipient of a blown coverage, 9-yard gain down to the 29, and Notre Dame will take whatever they can get at this point. It's going to be 2nd down and 1 from there. Looking for a run play here, 5 or less, and Notre Dame coming out throwing the ball, new game plan in the second half, and it's going to be a +1 on the short pass. And I did not mean to roll that. +1 on the short pass, 8, and that is going to be a 9-yard completion, and the recipient of that catch is Williams. So Book and Notre Dame moving the ball now finally in the second half. That's going to get it down to the Clemson 20, and that turnover, the spark that the Irish needed. 1st and 10. And again, coming up on the midway point of quarter number 3. It's going to be a run play, and 1 and a 2 are the trench control rolls. So that's going to be an even result, and the ball carrier is going to be Williams. No adjustment to his carry. And 7 on 0. That's going to be an 8-yard gain for Williams. So Notre Dame slicing through the Clemson defense on this drive. 2nd down and 2. Let's see if Ian Book takes a shot and deuces. That's a possible penalty. 9 is above. Notre Dame very disciplined on penalties. So we are going 5, and again, Williams is the ball carrier. 5 on 0. It's going to be a 4-yard gain for Williams and another 1st down for the Irish. It's going to make it a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. So Notre Dame, they can cut this to a 1-score game if they can punch it into the end zone here. It's going to be another run play. Notre Dame sticking to what they do best, pound the rock, and they are going to get a +3 result. Ball carrier here is going to be Tyree, and Tyree on a +3 roll of 3, and that is going to be a 7-yard gain, and Tyree fights his way down to the 1-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 1. Notre Dame assuredly is going to punch this in now. Hey, what's up, Kent? How are you feeling, buddy? I know it was a quick procedure, but hope you're feeling good. And Al Red Sox fan has joined us as well. Check out the replay of Super Bowl 4 that Al just did. Another heartbreaking loss for my Minnesota Vikings, who are 0 for life in Super Bowls in both. It's going to be another run play for Notre Dame. 3 and a 4, and again, an even result and a roll of 7. And that should get it into the end zone. Ball carrier Williams, 1-yard plunge, and the Irish finally hit pay dirt, and they have a chance to cut the lead midway through the 3rd quarter to 20-13. The extra point team is on, up and good. Notre Dame with the touchdown, and we will see how Clemson answered. They fumbled on their first possession of the second half. So great drive, great job capitalizing by Notre Dame, and they have turned this into a contest. Clemson looked like they were going to run away with it early in the first half, but turning out not to be the case. Notre Dame set to tee it up and kick it off. That's going to be a touchback. So Clemson starts their second drive of the second half on the 25-yard line. And let's see if Trevor Lawrence can respond. As I fumble the dice everywhere, let's just roll all those again. I'm knocking dice left and right. All right, 6, and Trevor Lawrence going to come out chucking the rock. 3 and 1 on the rolls. And that's going to be an even result. 4, short pass, incomplete for Trevor Lawrence. And that ball was intended for Etienne. So 2nd and 10. All right, never mind. Let's start that whole thing over. I've got to do the simulated drive. My own game, I'm screwing it up. Gee whiz. All right, 25. Clemson, we've got our bearings now, and Clemson is going to actually have to punt. 13, and they are going to go 3 plays and 6 yards. So the tide is definitely turning in the second half. Notre Dame with the halftime adjustments, and Clemson's going to have to kick it away. This will be Notre Dame's final possession of the third quarter, as second half moving at a brisk pace here. All right, Clemson punting B and 9B. That is going to be a potential block, and we will come back to roll for that. That will be a 43-yard punt. And going to Notre Dame's big play chart on the return, and that is not going to be blocked. So 9, 43-yard punt, and 74 down to the 26-yard line. And going off of the big play chart, Notre Dame on their punt returns, they have 2 nice returns on there. Let's see if they can hit one. And 7 off the team chart. That's going to be a 13-yard return. Not bad, up to the 39, where the Irish will take possession for their final drive of the third quarter. As we jump into simulated drive mode, here we go. 51, and Notre Dame looks like they are going to have an opportunity to tie this. That's going to be a successful drive. And roll of 1 from the 39. It's going to be 4 plays, 46 yards, and that is going to be an automatic first down in down and distance situation. Again, 1s and 20s on the drive chart always start 1st and 10 or 1st and whatever. So 46-yard drive, that is going to be all the way down to the Clemson 15, where it will be 1st and 10. So Notre Dame in a great position here. Ian Book has fired the offense up in the second half. Clemson yet to mount a serious threat in the third quarter, as it's going to be a run play. 6 and 5, not good there. That's going to be a -1 coming off of Clemson's card, and a roll of 6. Still going to be a 4-yard gain, though, and the ball carrier on that is Book. As Book pulls it on the read option, and that's down to the 11, 2nd down and 6. 0 to 5 is a run, and Notre Dame keeping that ball on the ground. We could have been a big play, but dice roll not favorable for Clemson, and that's going to be a stuff. So -3, a stuff on Clemson's card, and ball carrier is going to be Book again. No success this time, as 5 on the stuff card is going to be a -2 gain. So Ian Book back to the 12, and that's going to make it 3rd and 8. We're actually back to the 13. 3rd and 8 for the Irish. As Clemson sitting in a pass defense, and the Irish are going to play right into that. Book tries a long strike. Clemson gets an extra star. It is going to be still a +1 for Notre Dame on the long pass chart, though. +1, roll of 1, 16, and that's going to be a touchdown if it is not an interception. So let's see if Clemson can come up with a defensive play. Book is 1 to 3 on the interceptions, and Clemson a robust +7. So 10 or less, it's going to be picked in the end zone. 10, a tip ball, and picked off by Clemson. A huge defensive play stymies the Irish, and that was a drive Notre Dame needed. That is Notre Dame's first turnover of the ball game, and it couldn't come at a worse time, as Clemson's going to start their final drive of the third quarter. Notre Dame en route to tying the game up. Completely blew that as a Book pass was tipped and hauled in the end zone. Clemson now set to drive. Clemson, though, still not going to be able to get the offense rolling. It's going to be their 3rd consecutive short drive here in the second half, as that will be a punt 18. And that is going to be a 3 and out, no yardage. So Clemson, they had a total of 286 yards at halftime. They have 13 thus far in the second half, and that's going to be another punt from the 25. And this will be the final play of the third quarter. And punting B, roll of 6. And I keep rolling that, roll of 6. All right, punt of B, that's going to be a 41-yard punt, 66 down to the Notre Dame 34. And Notre Dame on the return is a C. C2 on the punt return will be no return, so Notre Dame will take over there as we start the fourth quarter of this one. And heading into the fourth, it is Clemson 20, Notre Dame 13. and hopefully we are headed for a big finish. Let's see if Notre Dame can continue. Oh, dang, Phil Esposito. It has been a bad month for musicians and athletes. Of course, we're losing J.R. Richard earlier this week. So rest in as Notre Dame gets their simulated drive going minus 185, and that's going to be a big play off the run chart. So big play off the run chart for Notre Dame. And this comes off the run 2 chart. So from the 34-yard line, and the ball carrier on this 16 is going to be Tyree. Let's see what Tyree can do. We look here, big play run 2, and there are a lot of juicy gains on there. Roll of 1, that's going to be a 65-yard jaunt by Tyree. Unbelievable. Notre Dame. That puts it at the 1-yard line. Tyree is hauled down at the 1, a 65-yard breakaway. And again, one of the current adjustments for this iteration of the game was to get the big plays adjusted, and I'm liking the balance a lot thus far. First and goal from the Irish at the 1. Surely they can't screw this up. Here we go. 5, it's going to be a run play. Very smart. And 4 and a 1 on the run. It's going to be a -1 off of Clemson's card. Roll of 6. And in for the touchdown is Williams. So Williams with his second 1-yard touchdown run of the afternoon. And Notre Dame with an extra point can tie this puppy up. It's up and good. Notre Dame with a touchdown. It is now 20-20. And second half has been 100% Irish as they set to tee it up. But yeah, Bobby Bowden too. Very tough month for sports figures and musicians. All right, Notre Dame kicking it off, and they are a D, roll of 2D, and that is going to be a touchback. So Clemson, their first drive of the fourth quarter, they're going to start at their own 25, and Trevor Lawrence looking to put an abysmal third quarter behind him. Let's see if they can generate a drive here. All they need is 31 or more, and they're going to punt again. And this time it's a 5-play, 22-yard drive. So Clemson, 3 punts in a row after going only 1 punt in the entire first half. So up to the 47-yard line. And Clemson will kick it away. Notre Dame, as we're approaching rapidly the midway point of the fourth quarter. So 6 on the punt. 6B, that is going to be a 41-yard punt. Down to the 13-yard line, and Notre Dame returned from there. 1C, and that is going to be a fair catch. So the Irish looking to keep that momentum going as they take over here at this drive. As this drive concludes, we'll be halfway through the fourth quarter. And Notre Dame, -1. They need to get a 35 or better to sustain a drive. They can't do it either, though. So the Irish, that's going to be 4 plays in 11 yards, and they're going to have to punt. So both defenses settling in, and it looks like we are in for hopefully a storybook finish here as Notre Dame set to kick it away. This will be Clemson's second possession of the fourth quarter. And Notre Dame punting is a B, and roll of 4B. That's going to be a booming 56-yard punt all the way down to the Clemson 20-yard line. And Clemson, though, they're going to go off their team big play chart for the punt return. And Clemson on their big play punt return chart, they've got a 26-yard gain as their best. They've also got a fumble on there. And 4, that is going to be a 26-yard return. So Clemson, let's see if some special teams magic can spark Clemson now as they start this drive on their own 46 as we jump into simulated drive mode. And Modine indicating that was Tony Esposito, not Phil. Bowden did indeed. He was definitely the catalyst and godfather of Florida State football for sure. So yes, revise our rest in peace to Tony Esposito. As Clemson finally, they're going to pull off a successful drive here. So from the 46-yard line, 18, that is going to be a 6-play, 24-yard simulated drive. All the way down to the Notre Dame 30, and our down and distance situation against a tough Notre Dame defense is going to be 3rd and 8 from there. So not an automatic situation for Lawrence and the Tigers by any means. Notre Dame will be playing pass here. They get that extra star if Clemson calls a long pass. And Clemson, 3rd and 6, they're going to actually try a short pass, and they have a favorable star roll. It's going to be 3 stars to 0 on the short pass. And roll 7. So recipient of that is going to be a shock, and roll of 7, short pass plus 3. That's going to be a 9-yard gain. Trevor Lawrence comes up big. First down to the 21-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Tigers. And shock, the recipient of that Lawrence bullet across the middle. So Clemson in great position here. Each team will have 1 drive left after this, as Clemson is going to call a short pass on 1st and 10 and roll a 4. 4 and a 5, it's going to be a +1, 0 on the short pass, and that is going to be incomplete, possible sack. Trevor Lawrence is sacked on 1 to 5. He is pretty elusive, and Notre Dame is a -1, so it's got to be a 4. And Trevor Lawrence is trapped in the backfield, and he's going to be brought down for a 9-yard loss. Unbelievable. So the Irish defense is stepping up. Going to be 2nd down and 19 as Lawrence corralled in the backfield. Let's see what Dabo Sweeney has in store for the Irish here, as it's 2nd down, and they're going to try a safe call, a run call, 6 and a 2. And that is not going to be well. That goes right to Notre Dame's card as the Notre Dame defense -3-7, and that is going to be a 1-yard gain. Ball carrier on that is Etienne. So an enviable 3rd and 18 from the 29-yard line. This will surely be a long pass, and it is indeed. And Notre Dame, of course, expecting that. We have a possible penalty, no penalty. 4s, Notre Dame will get the extra star here, and that's going to be a -1. So 3 long pass -1, and that is going to be incomplete coming off of Notre Dame's card. And that makes it 4th down for the Tigers. And this will be a 46-yard field goal. Clemson from 46, 0 to 85. So they got a pretty good shot to take the lead here. No penalty. Kick is up, and it is good. So Clemson salvages a little something out of that, and they jump into the lead. It is now 23-20. And in Notre Dame, this is going to be their final opportunity of the game. Now, what happens here if the Irish get a punt situation, they will go automatically. Of course, they will go for it on 4th down, obviously. So that would be a variance to the normal rules if they do roll a punt. But let's see what happens as Clemson set to tee it up. And Clemson, again, a very good kickoff team. It's a touchback, so Notre Dame starts their final drive opportunity of the game on the 25-yard line. As Matt Steeler fan, Modine, let's go Irish, and Matt Steeler fan 1933, about to play a little GDB. We've got number 6, Jack McAuliffe versus Battling Nelson in the UBF lightweight division. And you can check out that dynasty on Operation Sports. He's had that going for a long time, has all divisions active and doing a great job of that. So give that a look. All right, this is it. Drive of the game. Notre Dame, -1. They need a 35 or better. Let's see. Ian Book, 82, and 82 is going to be a successful drive. So Notre Dame not done yet. 2. And from the 25-yard line, that's going to be 7 plays, 44 yards. So Notre Dame in a position to take the lead. 69, so down to the Clemson 31 and a 9. That's going to be another bad down and distance. Actually, not too bad. 2nd and 8 for Notre Dame, so that's manageable. 2nd and 8 now from the Clemson 31-yard line. Let's see what Ian Book has up his sleeve. As 2nd and 8, it's going to be a short pass attempt, and Notre Dame has had this issue the entire game. High rolls on the trench control or line control, whatever you want to call it. So 6 and 2, that's going to be a -2 coming off of Clemson's card, short pass roll of 6. And Clemson, they're actually, -1 column is not exceptional. So that's going to be a 12-yard gain. And maybe Ian Book is best sticking to that particular equation, as that's going to go to McKinley for 12 yards. So the Irish in a great position now, 1st and 10 from the Clemson 19. They trail by 3 in the waning moments of the 4th quarter. Clemson will have 1 possession left after this, and it is going to be another short pass attempt, 4 and a 6. This time it's going to be a +2 for the Irish. So +2 roll of 5, and that's going to be a 13-yard gain all the way down to the 6-yard line and a strike to Williams. So 13, Ian Book saving his best for last. It's going to be a 1st and goal for Notre Dame from the 6-yard line, trailing 23-20. Clemson's defense needs to come up big here. 1st down, and it's going to be, of course, a run call for the Irish. That's what they do best. +1, and your ball carrier is Book on the read option, +1, 7, and that's going to be only a 3-yard gain. So 2nd and goal, as the second half has completely belonged to Notre Dame, complete opposite of the first half. 2nd and 3, 2nd goal from the 3, and again, it's going to be another run play, and Notre Dame, another +2. Williams, the ball carrier, can he get his 3rd touchdown of the day? 3 and 5 yards. Williams is in, a 3-yard touchdown run. So he has not gotten any big gains. Tyree provided us with that, but he has made it matter in the red zone. 3 touchdowns for Williams, and Notre Dame has jumped back into the lead. 26-23, pending extra point. And kick is up and good. And the Irish on their final drive of the game. 14 points here in the 4th quarter for Notre Dame to only 3 for Clemson. They lead at 27-23. And Trevor Lawrence and the Tigers will get one more shot at this. And the band plays Cheer, Cheer for Old Notre Dame indeed, as Notre Dame set to tee it up. They are, of course, a D on kickoff, so only 0 through 2 are touchbacks, and they get a 2. That'll work. So Clemson, their final drive opportunity of the game, and they are going to start on their own 25. Let's see if Trevor Lawrence has a little magic in him. 31 or more for a successful drive. 57, that is indeed going to be a successful drive. Roll of 6 from the 25. 5 plays, 40 yards, and we will jump into play-by-play mode there at the Notre Dame 35-yard line. And down a distance situation, a roll of 5, and it's going to be a tough one for Clemson. 3rd and 8, say the magic 2D6. So Trevor Lawrence, this is definitely a 4-down territory. Obviously, their last drive of the game. Clemson looking to pull this out. Irish looking to hang on with a thrilling come-from-behind win, as that is going to be 3rd and 8, roll of 5. That is going to be a long pass. Notre Dame gets that extra star. So 3 and a 4, it's going to be dead even off the long pass chart. Roll of 2 and incomplete. Trevor Lawrence, who has struggled in the second half, that makes it 4th down and 8. And a field goal too far out doesn't do them any good anyway. They've got to go for it. 4th and 8. This is your ball game, folks. And it's going to be a short pass and favorable. +3 for Clemson on the short pass. And short pass 0. That's going to be a 10-yard gain. 10-yard gain, Clemson. lives to fight on as a nice pass from Lawrence, and he threads the needle, hitting Powell. And Powell in play-by-play mode has 3 catches for 38 yards now. And again, not counting the simulated stats. But 1st and 10, Clemson still in this, still with a chance to win. And Notre Dame, they have to make a stop here as they do not get their hands on the ball again. So let's see, Clemson now looking to throw the rock. And 4 is possible penalty, no penalty. So Clemson 4s, that's going to be even result, 7 on the short pass even, and that's going to be incomplete and another possible sack. And Trevor Lawrence, and again, the sack adjustments, Notre Dame is a -1, so it's got to be 1 to 4 for Trevor Lawrence. And he is going to go down again. Unbelievable. The Irish defense, 2nd huge sack. They come up big and another 9-yard loss. 2nd time Trevor Lawrence has been dropped for -9. That's going to make it 2nd down and 19 all the way back to the 34-yard line. And Notre Dame's defense is going crazy. So Clemson now backs up against the wall, 2nd and 19 and 6s and no penalty, but that's going to be a 0 result. As Dabo Sweeney, what the hell is he thinking? He calls a run play. So 4 on the 0. That's only a 3-yard gain. And ball carrier on that, that's going to be Lawrence. Lawrence scrambling for his life. That's going to make it a 3rd down and 16 now. 3rd and 16 from the 31. Trevor Lawrence needs to pull a little rabbit out of his hat. And they are going to try and catch Notre Dame napping. They do. It's another draw play. All right, so a 3-2. And, of course, Clemson gets an extra star, so it's going to be a actually, this will be even as Notre Dame has a very good run defense, even with that extra star. So even 3, that's only a 4-yard gain, and ball carrier on that is going to be Malusi. And you know what? My bad. Shit. That's still a run, but I should have been going off the 2-minute column. But regardless, that is the only run on there. So 4-yard gain, that's going to make it 4th down and 11 from the 27-yard line. And this is going to be it. Again, off the 2-minute column for the play call. So 1 or more is going to be a pass. 4th and 11. Can Trevor Lawrence pull a rabbit out of his hat? That's going to be a long pass. And Notre Dame sitting back and not a favorable star roll for Clemson. That's going to be a -3 coming off of Notre Dame's card. -3 roll of 7 and possible sack again. And that's going to be another sack. I already rolled the white dice. So the game will end as Trevor Lawrence goes down for a 6-yard loss. And Notre Dame's defense coming up huge here in the 4th quarter. Your final score as Notre Dame puts up 14 4th-quarter points and holds Clemson to only 3 second-half points. So the Irish pull off a 27-23 comeback win against the Clemson Tigers. Great ball game, great adjustments at halftime by Brian Kelly and staff, and that is the ball game. The Irish win indeed, so let's add up our total yardage real quick. Clemson just struggled in the second half. Like I said, they had a ton of yards in the first. Not going to be the case in the second. After their best drive in the second was their last. And Notre Dame, the complete opposite of first half. All right. Doing individual player stats, but yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit too. Definitely very happy with the 72 there, with the increase of big plays the way it sits now. 13. right, Notre Dame's final yardage. They ended up with 429 yards of total offense for the game. And Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, wow, he had minus 24 yards all in the second half by himself. So Clemson in the second half in play-by-play mode had minus 11 yards rushing. Unbelievable. Passing, they did fare a little bit better. All right, 21 and 99. All right, Notre Dame's defense, huge in the second half. They held Clemson to a total of 128 second half yards, and Clemson for the game had 414 total yards. So, again, real happy with the result of big plays. Now, there were actually 3 explosive plays in this game, 2 by Clemson, 1 by the Irish. Clemson's, of course, both came in the first half. But liking the variety a lot more, so looking very good. What I'm going to work on next with this is calculating the stats for the simulated drive portions of the game for people that like to do that. And again, you can play this game 2 ways. You can do play-by-play the entire game, every drive, or you can do the simulated drive, which is a hybrid version I'm playing here with play-by-play mode once you get into opponent's territory at a certain point. So both options there, and I'm going to start working on methods to, again, break down these simulated drive stats and to divide them amongst the players for individual stats overall. So that's pretty much it. A very good second half. Notre Dame, tale of 2 halves. Clemson 20-6 in the first half, Notre Dame 21-3 in the second, as the Irish pull off a 27-23 win in a very evenly matched game. So quick thanks to everyone who joined us for the second half here. I've got and that it really is, Al. Thanks, and I've been happy thus far. So we've got final testing. And answer your question, Mo, I'll expand testing once I get the formulas for breaking down stats for the simulated drives for the individual players, and then I also want to get another good 20 to 30 games play tested with between myself and the very small handful of guys I have testing now. At that point, I'll do an analysis of the stats and results, decide if there's going to be any more tweaks, and then if we're ready to go, at that point, I'll bring in a few more extra testers. And again, I'm looking at that being at least a month away from this point in time, because there's still some nuances to work on. I need to refine special teams, specifically blocks, a little bit more. And again, the formulas for dividing stats from the simulated drives. And, once we get through that and get a good number of results under our belt, we'll be ready to expand a little bit. And then it'll be pretty much play testing through the 2021 season. And then as soon as the regular season ends, I'll start ranking the teams from 2021 that do bowl games and work on that through bowl season. And then as bowl season's completed, work on the rest with an eye towards a early spring 2022 release of the game. So hey, have a good night. And you guys, RJL 518, again, check out his 1976 Inside Pitch playoff run. Al is doing some Pro Football Strategy 22 beta testing. Game looks very good. Very, very fun pro football emulator. And best of all, mods for multiple seasons, absolutely free, but the game engine is very much improved. Again, check out Matt Steeler fans, Glory Days Boxing Dynasty on Operation Sports. So hope you all have a great night. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. Only because of the name, that's okay. Can't stand watching. All right. Robert, as always, causing trouble in the chat. We'll see you guys. Hope you have a great night. Take care.